Godzilla then, how's it all come about? How'd you get the gig?
I made a film, and then what happened was, when you make a film, or a very low budget movie that blips on the radar of Hollywood, you end up going to do, I did like, in 2 weeks, I met 100 people, and I was literally like in a hire car, just ferrying myself around each different studio, meeting everybody. And it's one of those things you always dream of, like a fantasy scenario when you're a wannabe filmmaker. And when it actually happened, it was really stressful and knackering, and you have the same half-hour conversation with everybody. By the end of it, you can just do it without thinking, you know. And one of the best meetings I had was with the Legendary, and it went really well, and just really hit it off with them. And then it was about 6 months after that meeting that they called and said, would you fancy the idea of, doing Godzilla? And it was like, yeah.
Hell yeah. Did you think that the gig was in the bag with the sort of mutterings that possibly you were in the frame to direct it, or was it literally just out of the blue you got this call?
It was very out of the blue, yeah. There was, I wouldn't dare think about it, so if I ever thought anything like that would happen, I'd always just clear the thought from my head so that I wouldn't ever get disappointed. But I remember getting, when something's up, when you get an email that says, like, that CCs in everyone that's important in your life, like in terms of work, like, and then goes, conference call now, call this number, and you're like, oh, something's going on. And this was like about nearly a year ago now. It was nearly about October, I think, and it was, okay, something's going on, and I called the number, and they were like, okay, you ready? Sit down. I was like, yeah, and they were like, so, we just had a call, and they were wondering if you'd like to direct Godzilla, sort of thing, and it was like, whoa.
And have you seen all the Godzilla films? Do you have a favourite?
I hadn't at the time, but I did own the original 1954 one, and it was on my shelf when I had the phone call, and I was looking at it during the phone call as they were talking about it, and I was thinking, this is so weird. And then I've obviously, like, it's really important to, I have seen them when I was a kid. I saw most of them because they used to show them on Channel 4. And then what's happened is I've since bought every single one and watched them all again, and got all into it. But it's, I didn't own them all because there's quite a lot, and some of them are quite hard to get hold of. But yeah, no, I had to do it very sneakily as well, because it would look a bit weird if I suddenly went in and bought every single Godzilla movie ever. Actually, it wouldn't look that weird if you knew me, because my DVD shelf was it's just full of like sci-fi and fantasy films from the 50s and 60s and stuff. So, but I remember I was in Australia promoting the film, and I secretly had to try and buy all the remaining Godzilla movies I didn't have, and so I went into this comic shop that had, a lot of the little gaps in my collection, and I bought them, paid for them, and then I suddenly realised after I paid for them that they were distributed by the same company that was distributing my movie, that I was about to go back to their office with the films that they distribute, and I was thinking, shit, I could have just asked them, and they would have given me them. And then I thought, no, they'd wonder why do you suddenly need to watch these random Godzilla movies, all of a sudden, like, by tomorrow, and so I had to keep it all quiet, and I wasn't allowed to tell anyone. I didn't tell my parents or anybody for about 2 months. Like, nobody knew at all, because I was just worried. You're just worried it won't happen, so you just keep it to yourself.